I feel like if you actually understand the environments in which these issues are happening, you know that it's young people in inner cities, and that can be young people of all different colours. So I feel to try and make a reference to stereotype it on black people, I think is redundant. I think it's nonsense. And like I keep saying to you, Jeremy, we need to focus on the real problem. There are real issues. Like there are organisations and programmes and initiatives that are actually taking care of this issue on the ground. They could do with funding to expand their work.
Right.
My name is Aaron Roach Bridgman. I'm a documentary maker. In my life, I've been stopped and searched more times than I can even remember. In this film, I'll be taking a proper look at what stop and search is. Like, I know it must be uncomfortable. Explain to me what happened on that day.
And I was on my way out, it was Friday night. It's the Friday before Carnival. Obviously the weather was very bad last year. I was standing on the shelter. Don't like to be questioned, they don't like to be challenged. And obviously, me doing that, I got a handcuff across my cheek and nearly lost my eye.
Meeting Jamal for me was very insightful. I feel like I learned a lot from speaking to him, but I also gained a lot of questions from speaking to him as well. And I think, what are our rights? And what happens to those who don't have as much knowledge as Jamal with their rights? And I think the third thing is, how should the police be treating us? And I feel like there's so much more information for me to gain on this. So the journey's just starting.
There might be some people who analyse the statistics and they might say there's only 2% of fines of knives or drugs out of stop and searches. That looks very much like an unsuccessful rate. So if stop and search statistically is so unsuccessful, why should we still use it?
It's a fine line because you can say that there's a low rate when it comes to finding weapons on people, but you know, one person being stabbed or one person being shot is one person too many.
I'll be then saying that, I guess, in that sense, in London, black people are more likely to be committing crimes. Is that what that says?
No, it's what it's saying is, in relation to the black people that are being searched, we are saying for every 3 black people we search, we find one bad, one criminal. For every 3 white people we search, we're finding one who's involved in criminality. So it's that same application, it's the fair application of suspicion. And that's the important thing around it. If they were different, then we'd have to be asking questions around that. Yeah. But it's that same application, it's the same outcome for across the board.
Workshops all around England about stop and search.
We're going to do some role play. You're going to be the person who is being searched. You're going to be the officer. So you're going to search him for drugs. So you're going to search him for cannabis under the Drugs Misuse Act.
All right, mate. Hey, stay right there. What's your name, mate? I'm in this local area, and I've heard that there is somebody with a jacket like yours that has been selling cannabis around this area. So I need to stop you and find out if it's you by having a little simple stop and search.
So I don't necessarily need to be here.
And who told you that?
Because I know my rights, I think.
This guy knows his rights. Got to let him go, all right?
Okay, and I didn't tell Aaron how to act as the officer, but you both, especially you, Aaron, you went in very hostile, all guns blazing.
Just based on previous experience.
Based on previous experience, and this is the perception that you have of the police.
I went out with the Metropolitan Police Stop and Search team because I wanted to see it up close and personal. I have to admit, I was apprehensive because of my own experiences.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a knife to make it illegal. It's very strange riding around in this area with a Hoover pole tucked down your trousers.
Yeah, so literally been in the car with the officer for about maybe 5 minutes, and already we have stopped and searched somebody on the roadside. They had suspicion that maybe it would be worth stopping him to see what he had on him, and they found a Hoover pole in his pocket, in his jacket, and because of that they're searching him further to find out what else he could have on him, and also to find out why did he have this on him in the first place. When I started this, I couldn't see a way where stop and search could be unproblematic. Now, I still see stop and search full of issues and problems, but I've learned how to maneuver it by staying calm and knowing our rights. Now, this isn't always going to be easily achieved, especially when you consider how tense and highly emotional these interactions can be. But even in my own life, as I've got older, I've realized it's become smoother for me in these procedures and dealing with the police by me not allowing it to get to me. So yes, the police definitely need to have a revised approach, but we too need to also carefully consider a calmer reaction in these situations. This is the way that we can seek proper justice, by complaining and having follow-on action if anything unlawful does happen to us.
Great! So you've got an introduction,
The entrance,
supported statements and evidence,
the walls and foundation,
conclusion.
the roof.
Job done!
Welcome back to a brand new series of What's Up TV. I have a brand new co-host and we've got lots in store for you this week.
All this and more on the final episode of What's Up TV.
And it's based more on observation information that they've taken from looking at different theses and different studies. But it has been proven that, you know, if you do run, this will lessen the chance of illness. Apparently, I think it's 27% less when it comes to death of any kind. 30% less when it comes to death of cardiovascular disease, and I think it's 23% less of death that might be caused by cancer. I believe Spain and Bulgaria have had action taken against them in regards to their air pollution levels, and I believe England, Spain, Netherlands, Germany, quite a few countries are on a list as well, where it's actually exceeding the World Health Organization's recommended level for air pollution as well. So I think a lot more can be done, and if Spain and Bulgaria are having action taken against them, then maybe we should as well, you know, maybe so we can make a change.
Maybe intently in Spain, the parakeets, that they have gotten out of hand and they've decided to kill some of them. What's your view, Aaron, on that? And let's live on that note.
Well, there was 1,700 in 2005. I believe there's like 12,000 now. So it's a massive problem. Apparently, they bring in disease. Apparently, their nests are too big and it can cause problems for vegetation. So I see where they're coming from. But killing in a mass amount loads of birds, for me, I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't think it's a humane thing to do. They call it humane slaughter.
Yes.
But can slaughter in that way ever be humane? I don't know.
One answer, actually, that New Zealand is not telling the whole story of its past. Why do you think is that, Aaron?
I think because people don't like to admit to the atrocities of the past, to be honest. But I think it's only right that if we speak about the history of New Zealand, that we also commemorate the history of the Maori people, who were the indigenous people of New Zealand. I think it's only right to include them in the history and make sure that if we are going to commemorate them, they are included in that story as well. I sometimes worry about these types of surveys because, you know, I don't know the exact sample or census that's been used to come up with these statements or these results. But I feel like sometimes it could be maybe a bit leading. It could be sometimes maybe demonizing certain countries. And I sometimes, when I read such surveys, I try to take them with a pinch of salt.
Do you think this might affect house prices? Areas less clean than other areas?
I think it will do in the long run. I think right now what they're saying is actually it's just additional information as opposed to being a tool for you to negotiate anything cheaper or more expensive. But I think in the long run it will do. But I think the thinking also is that with the emerging of more and more electric cars, that hopefully that this type of air pollution that we're seeing will be reduced.
Myself, Aaron Roach Bridgman, Ashley Waters, Top Boy is on Netflix. Make sure you're checking that out. Let's go for a run, bro.
Let's do it, man.
Let's go.
Hey, I'm Ro London.
And I'm Aaron Roach Bridgman.
And we've got the ultimate end of year wrap up for you.
Yes, we've handpicked some of the best moments of 2019 in film, TV, social media, moments, media, everything. And we want to know, did you see that?
Right, so join us right here, Boxing Day on SBTV.
We'll see you then.
This is a scene in Game of Thrones now. I'm not going to even play it any further. Do you remember what happens after this? Is there something that you do after this? Do you remember?
Oh, yes. I say I invoke Sumai. And I cut my hands, I vouch for her and for her dragons.
Yeah, let's play it.
I invoke Sumai.
Guess.
I will vouch for her people, and her dragons. I got the lines right. I got the lines right.
Everything was top 10, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to try and go through them now, yeah? Take Me Back featuring Tayo Cruz, number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 1 featuring N-Dub went to number 1.
Yeah.
Never Leave You featuring Amel went to number 1.
Yes. Wow, you got it right. Yeah.
Spaceship featuring Dappy went to number 5.
Yeah. Before that, Spaceship, I think
In My
in my
System went to number 10.
Yeah, that was before Spaceship.
Yeah,
I
before
think.
Spaceship.
Yeah.
And then after that, we had Bright Lights featuring Pixie Lott that went to number 7. Bro, mad.
Yeah.
Hella hits.
Yeah. Real talk.
All
real
top
talk.
10. How much do you use the internet to run your life? I contact my friends and my family. I transfer money. I send pictures and videos. I buy things. The internet is literally at the center of everything that I do. But can something that we all utilize every single day then be used to destroy our lives? A lot of people speak about how much information was given to us about Brexit and the EU prior to the referendum. Do you feel that we had enough information to make an informed decision about Brexit?
I think so. I'm an original Brexiteer.
Okay.
I stood in the 1994 European elections. I was a 10.
So literally, if I stand here, I'm in Northern Ireland.
You're in the United Kingdom, in the Sterling area, as we call it, Poundland.
But then as soon as I cross over here, I've got to use
Yes,
euros.
you're in the Eurozone. You're in the
Wow.
Eurozone.
Wow, it's incredible.
But we live with this every day.
Yeah.
The thing about people who live here is that they have 2 of everything. 2 currencies, 2 bank accounts, sometimes 2